Hello there. You are listening to the Fancification Hour. The Nerd Edification Hour has been cancelled, and in its place, we have this show here.
The Fancification Hour.
Fancification, where we talk about fancy things, like what to wear at your best friend's rich party.
Yes, indeed. And where to get the best caviar.
Ooh, caviar, yes, indeed. Okay. I can't keep it up.
We're kidding, guys. We're kidding.
Just
April
kidding.
Fools.
April Fools.
April Fools.
Happy April Fools. You knew that was going to happen.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure.
We went from nerdy dorky things to fancy dorky things.
Fancy dorky.
Since we're dorks. I know all April Fool's jokes are technically, you're not supposed to do them past noon because it's bad form. Oh, shoot, we broke the rules. We broke the internet. Let's just go home.
We just broke it. And we break everything.
But yes, you are listening to the Nerd Edification Hour on Alternation Radio. Just so you know.
I'm Caleb.
And I'm Rachel.
And Jake is sick, and Kyle is sick, and it's all good things, and we've had to delay our 1 year
anniversary celebration.
Happy birthday
to the Nerd Edification Hour.
Me, I don't have the little noisemaker.
Yeah, if we had a noisemaker, we'd blow it right now. But we don't.
That will come at a later date, of which I don't know yet.
Probably in a week or two, I'd say. But yes, on this episode of the Nerd Edification Hour, we are going to talk about some movie and TV news.
Right.
And inevitable Nintendo, of course. The nerd vocab section, which Jake is not here to do with us today, but it will be done, as always. Then we have some video game news. And then lastly, we have some kind of tech news and some more April Fool stuff. Not us, but talking about what other people have done today.
No, that's it for April Fools.
Yeah, no more on our part.
Maybe. I'm just kidding.
No.
All right, so first up, the movie news.
Yes.
Pirates of the Caribbean 5 was halted, the production of it, on Monday in Australia due to the hand injury suffered by Johnny Depp.
Yep, that happened earlier this month. Actually, a spokesman from Disney confirmed it. It wasn't even apparently related to filming. It's kind of unknown how he hurt himself. I don't know. Maybe he got angry, punched a wall. Maybe he just slammed his hand in a door. I don't know. I have no idea. It's all speculation. But it happened off the set, and he's recovered from surgery on his hand, but
that's good.
It's halted for right now. It was continuing as it was, when he was getting surgery and all that kind of stuff. But this week, some of the 200 crew were like, you're not going to be working until, let's say April 15th. That's basically what the production people said. They were like, we'll start again on April 15th. Hey, they get a week or so off. That's kind of cool. Is it paid time off, I wonder? That would be nice.
Probably not, unless they have to stay there.
Yeah.
Against their will, just,
Well, I imagine they have hotels or some house they've rented and stuff like that for the crew to actually stay in. Or whatever. I don't see them constantly, the production company. I don't see Disney paying for crew to constantly fly in and out.
Yeah, they could, but I don't think they're going to.
I don't think they would, no.
They totally could, though.
No. Other news, which I'm super excited about. Last night, it was announced that Michael Keaton is going to be hosting SNL this weekend on Saturday, April 4th. I know I'm staying home to watch it. I think that's going to be awesome. I made the most unintelligible noise when I found out last night because I was super excited. I always like it when older actors host SNL because this will be his third time hosting, I think. And normally you see people that are a lot younger, a lot more hip, as they say. But I like seeing more.
Yeah, I think
older
you're hoping
actors.
for a Beetlejuice joke. to be
They
thrown in there
better. They
somewhere.
haven't done one yet. I mean, I checked. I went and watched those old episodes where he hosted. I don't think they had one. And if they did, it was so small that you couldn't notice it. And I think at that point when he hosted last, it was still too close to when the movie was actually released or when the cartoon was still going on that they couldn't really make that joke. But now with all the sequel news out there on the internet, they might be more inclined to do it, and he would probably be a pretty good sport about it. I think. I hope that would be nice, but
You hope,
we'll
yes.
see. I'll be talking about it probably next week after I watch it this weekend. And the advertisement, if you look it up, it's super funny.
So further details on that from Rachel next week, possibly, if we remember.
We'll see.
And next up, as we always do most of the time, your Nintendo news is going to come up all here on the Nerd Edification Hour, not the Fancification Hour, although I'm pretty sure that would be an interesting show.
It probably would. I do not doubt that it would. Maybe we'll do a special segment one day.
Special
Probably
segment.
not, but maybe.
The Fancification segment. Hello, welcome.
But yes, what's our song coming up next, Caleb?
It is by Slash.
Okay.
It is Bent to Fly.
Okay, that sounds really cool.
Yeah, it is actually. I like it. I like the song.
And while you're listening, you could actually go on Facebook and look us up at Nerd Edification Hour and like us. Subscribe to Caleb's YouTube, Strangely
Yay.
Entertaining. And we will be right back.
Oh, speaking of which, random note,
Oh.
I made 10 cents
Awesome.
off ad revenue on YouTube.
You're awesome,
10
Caleb.
cents.
That's kind of cool.
I'm moving up in the world.
Maybe we'll do a segment one day about explaining more about how YouTube works.
That would be an actually interesting segment.
Yes.
Huh.
More on that soon.
Write that down.
I will.
Write it down.
We'll be right
Use a
back.
pen. All right. See you in a bit.
And we are back on the Nerd Edification Hour on Alternation Radio. I am Rachel, and I have sitting across from me, Caleb.
What's up? Hello, world.
We are just a duo today instead of a trio. Jake is out once
Yeah.
again if you're just tuning in.
And Kyle's sick. Everybody's sick. People,
I
stop
don't know.
getting sick.
Is there some bug going around? Are people
I don't-
forgetting to wash their hands? Ew.
How
Disgusting.
nasty. So nasty.
Not that they would, of course, but hey, guys, if you're sick, stay home.
Come on, man.
Take care of yourselves. But yes, now we have our inevitable Nintendo section. So,
Da, da, da.
Caleb, what's going on right now with Nintendo?
So we all know Nintendo is a bit of a grandpa, especially when it comes to legal sort of things or anyone else using their, IPs for whatever reason. IPs, intellectual properties. In case you don't know that, Nintendo's legal department has taken aim at a Super Mario 64 HD remake, and this is fan made.
And it's
Yeah,
free. It's not making any money.
Yeah, it's free. Not making any money, just on his website. And for those who didn't know, yeah, there was a kid guy, I don't know, making an HD remake.
Of the first level of from Super Mario 64, and
Yep.
it was the
Bomb on Battlefield.
it was just free for everybody. You could download it, and the guy's name was Royston Ross, and he built it using the Unity engine, which is free now. You could still download it currently right now, but the one that was like you could actually play in the web browser is completely gone. Like, I understand why Nintendo was a little meh about that because it's their intellectual property. If they want to remake it in HD one day, then they will. They didn't want anyone else fooling with it. But the guy just made it and wanted to show it off, and he wasn't making any money off of it.
Yeah,
So-
that was. But then they just shot arrows from the sky with law enforcement on it.
No, more like just they had their lawyers attached to it, and yeah. And the lawyers may or may not have been dressed as Tingle with a balloon
Oh my
attached to their
gosh.
back. Yeah, old Nintendo joke. It's a character from Legend of Zelda, in case you didn't know.
Olimpa.
But Yeah, so if you guys had been playing that on the web browser, it's gone now. And probably everything else having to do with it pretty soon in the next couple of days are going to be gone.
It's quite sad. I just heard about it. I didn't get a chance to look at it either.
I mean, on the flip side, at some point they will redo it in that quality, I'd think, or something similar to it at least. Because with the success of all the other companies that are doing HD remakes of their older games, Nintendo might hop on board a little bit more.
Maybe.
I mean, they've already remade Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask. Why not remake some of the Mario games? Huh?
Yeah, hopefully they don't. Huh? They don't. Hopefully it's not. Hopefully they don't do it too much, like with some recent things on the PS4. Was it like last year was the year of remakes, pretty much?
Well, what they've done
year
is,
of HD remakes.
Well,
every
Square Enix remade a lot of their HD stuff, and they ported it from the PS2 titles to the PS3. And now what they're doing is they're porting it from they're porting the HD remake from the PS3 to now the PS4, which in itself is a little boring, but hey, they're trying to make some extra money, make sure people who didn't get the PS3 that have the PS4 or wanted it on their PS4 that got rid of their PS3 can now get these titles and carry over their saves, which does work, I might add. If you played Final Fantasy X, 10-2 on the PS3 and you want it on the 4 and you get it on the 4, your save from your PlayStation 3, if it was saved up into the cloud, will carry over and be usable on the PS4 edition, which in itself is pretty cool. So if they do remake it, I hope that they are allowed to do like save port stuff, you know.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
It would be neat.
Yeah. It's an interesting idea. Go call up Nintendo right now and say, hey.
Yeah.
But then they might sue you for thinking about.
I don't know. They're very picky, but I understand why. Okay. Also today,
right after the show, pretty much
at 3 p.m. Pacific time, there's going to be a Nintendo Direct that's going to talk about the upcoming Wii U and Nintendo 3DS games. My guess is probably going to talk about the Xenoblade stuff for both of the consoles, as well as probably address the whole Zelda U being postponed, which we'll talk to you more on.
Yeah,
in just
we'll talk about that next.
Yeah.
They'll probably show off a little bit of their amiibos or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Probably some new 3DSs or new cases and whatnot.
Right, and apparently there's their live Treehouse presentation about the spring releases after that. If you guys don't know what Nintendo Treehouse is, it's basically their special presentation for new stuff coming up. They use it a lot for announcements. If it's special announcement, they call it Nintendo Treehouse as opposed to Direct, which is kind of interesting. And I don't know how they came up with that term, but I bet it was Reggie. Reggie.
What is America known for? America has tree houses. We'll just make a Nintendo tree house. There we go. And they have like wires, and they have a giant building in a giant tree, like in a redwood tree, and then they run the wires up the tree.
Well, you know, I don't know the exact origin of why they called it this. I guess when you're a kid, you play in a treehouse and you pretend the treehouse is something else. So I guess they thought of it as a creativity thing. But yeah, Nintendo Direct today. Don't let the date fool you. It's actually a Nintendo Direct presentation. It's not a joke.
It's not a joke.
Which is interesting timing on Nintendo's.
Yeah, really. It's like, oh wait, it's April 1st. What's that American holiday they do on April 1st?
Well, Nintendo of USA was probably like, let's do it anyway.
Let's go.
I can feel Reggie face palming and then laughing all the way from here.
Do you think he's listening right now?
To us? I don't know.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
Know. He has ears and eyes everywhere.
Hey, Reggie, shout out if you're listening. The Nerd Edification Hour, you know, if you want to be a guest on it, that'd be great.
Oh my God. Can you imagine if he just popped up and was on our show? He just probably just suddenly appears. That guy's magical.
Like
For those of you who don't know of Reggie Fils-Aimé, he's the CEO, I think is he the CEO or one of the directors of Nintendo of America?
He's one of the directors. He's the director of like the USA part of it. And then they have, you know, everybody else over in Japan.
Yeah, so he's like the head of Nintendo of America, and then he answers to all the folks in Japan, pretty much.
Pretty much, yeah.
He's a cool guy, really funny, really funny, dude.
He made up the internet meme, "My body is ready."
Yes, he did. He's the originator of that. He is. And it all came from E3 when they announced the Wii and he was testing it out, I believe.
The Wii balance board.
Yeah.
That's
So
what
if
he
you
was-
guys are curious about that, go and check that out because it's actually quite hilarious. There's been a bunch of parodies made on it and little music videos too. But let's
music video as well. I didn't know that.
yeah, it's ridiculous. Caleb, tell us a little bit more about the Zelda U being postponed.
All right, I have some unfortunate news for anyone who was anticipating this. The Legend of Zelda Wii U will be postponed. It will not come out this year, as they announced, and it will not show up at E3, which could possibly mean that it won't show up till next spring, possibly after E3. Because if it's not showing up at E3, that's
Well, I mean,
that means they're working on it. So that's a
when
long
they
time.
did announce that it was going to come out this year at last year's E3, I kind of said, "Ooh, Nintendo, sweetie, that's a little ambitious." Especially since shortly after that they said this is going to be the biggest Zelda game in existence. It's going to be larger than Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, and Twilight Princess and Skyward Sword combined, which says to me multiple continents. And it's going to be free roam and also it's basically going to be Zelda Skyrim. And that to me said, I think they're jumping the gun a little bit on saying a 2015 release. So then, lo and behold, all of a sudden they released a video, last week, saying, we ask you to be patient and wait a little bit longer with us for this new title. So that also says to me that with the whole patent being out with the Nintendo NX, which is their the code name for their newer next-gen console, whether it's a portable console or a home console, we're not exactly sure yet.
Maybe it's both
But
in one.
that would be weird, Caleb.
Lifestyle change.
That would be really...
It'll plug into your brain
Oh, wow.
and you'll get immersed.
That would be very strange, Caleb. But if they are going to wait to put it on the next console, I think that would be a very bad move.
No, it's coming out. It's already Zelda Wii U. Well, as far as we know, we don't really know the official title, but they're working on it. When it's never really bad when a game is delayed.
Now I think
it's usually a good thing.
It's usually a good thing, yes, because it
means it'll be working when it comes out, and it won't be
as opposed
buggy.
to not working, right? But I think one of the things that they're going to have to pay attention to is the size of the game itself, because I know as it stands currently, the last I read on it, Xenoblade Chronicles X is going to be like a 21 gig install on the first thing, not counting future DLC. And the highest amount of gigabytes that a Wii U has out of the box for the deluxe, like Black Edition, is 32. Yes, you can attach a external memory device on it and install your games through there, but that's an external memory device. There's no actual console that's larger than 32 gigs. So maybe they'll release a edition of it with a larger memory capacity. I don't know, but that's going to be something I think they have to consider.
The Wii U NX.
Yeah, because if Xenoblade's installed, because that's going to come out before Zelda U, because it's pretty much already done. I think Japan gets it in spring. They get it soon, and if that's the case, then players will already have that title installed on their Wii U, which is 21 gigs of their 32 gigs filled up if they don't have an external memory device attached to it. In which case, they're going to be like, "Ooh, well, you have to delete that game now, folks." And then otherwise,
the memory gets saved separately, so that's pretty cool.
Which is nice.
I noticed that when I was looking one day when I was trying to free up some drive space, I noticed that it was separate. And I'm like, oh, that's cool.
So we'll see how that goes. More on that as it develops.
Yeah, we will see. Let me know, everyone, how the Nintendo Direct goes, because I will be doing other things.
He'll be in class, I think.
No.
Doing homework.
I'll be anchoring.
Oh, fun
I'm
stuff.
A big, important anchor.
More school stuff, anyway.
People love me. And then I have to do programming. Then I have to go work at the. I'm busy.
You're a busy man
I'm
today.
busy. I didn't want to ever be busy in my life, but here I am busy.
All right, next up, our segment is, of course, everyone's favorite segment, the Nerd Vocab.
Ooh,
And I
vocab.
believe our next song is Shiver by Elliot Minor. Elliot
Yes.
Minor is an English punk band. They're several years old. I don't know if you listen to bands like Fall Out Boy and Blink-182 when you were younger, like I did, like early 2000s, late 90s. This will remind you a bit of that.
Yeah, blast from the past.
Little bit.
And you are listening to the Nerd Edification Hour on Alternation Radio, and we will be right back. You are listening to the Nerd Edification Hour on Alternation Radio. I'm Caleb.
And I am Rachel. Yay! Welcome back, guys.
Hi. All right, so this week's Nerd Vocab is OST.
Which is an original soundtrack.
Whoa, my mind is blown.
It's actually an acronym.
What?
Yes, an acronym.
An acronym?
Yes.
Acronym.
Every game, every TV series, every movie, and a lot of different other things have original soundtracks, which is the music you hear in the background throughout the entire work. Now, it could be instrumental stuff. It could be stuff actually sung by people, like the songs that you hear in the background during movies. Even musicals have original soundtracks, but those are like cast recordings, rather, is what they are referred to as.
Yeah. So if you go and you buy a soundtrack, say from Guardians of the Galaxy, if you buy that soundtrack, that's the OST.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And a lot of them have many different versions too. Like there's the deluxe soundtrack, there's just the regular soundtrack. Like normally the regular soundtracks include just what's in the movie. The deluxe editions have like the trailer music as well as songs that were cut, extended editions of the songs, et cetera, et cetera.
I can't remember, but when I was smaller, when I was a wee lad, I would watch a movie, say, Lion King.
Right.
And I would, get you would get these little discs, and then they say this is the sing along or whatever, but it was different. That's not the OST.
No, that's not at all.
Disney likes doing that. They just say, hey, look, here's the songs from the movie, but guess what? It's not really. We just redid it for whatever reason. It's like, why would you do that? I just want the original.
Right.
Give me the original.
They do that for the kids to make it a little bit more fun, I guess. I don't know. I'm not going to question
it's like
why what they do.
When I want to hear the opening, or I don't.
Yeah.
And then they redo it, and it's
and
like,
then they redo
what is
it.
this?
Exactly.
This is not what it sounded like in the movie. Why do you got to do this to me? What the heck?
Typically, though, when I go to a movie, the first thing I notice is the music. I'll go to like that. Literally, when I went and saw Guardians of the Galaxy, the first thing I did when I got home was buy the soundtrack with all those awesome songs on it, like Hooked on a Feeling and stuff like that. And the thing was with it is I don't know how many other people out there actually do that, and it's not just certain films that I go to. Literally every movie that I see, I notice the music. I go look up the composer when I get home. I see what else they've done. And I actually learned something new the other day when I was in the music library here at the station. I'm going through our film soundtrack section, and there was the Final Fantasy Spirits Within soundtrack just kind of chilling out there. And I looked at the bottom, and it says composed by Elliot Goldenthal. And fun fact, Elliot Goldenthal also composed the music for one of my favorite movies, Interview with the Vampire.
Wow.
Yeah, so small world. And that's two completely different styles, too. So a lot of these composers just are brilliant in that they can just be like, oh, I'll just do it like this style. I'll just do it in this time period. It's really, really neat how creative they are with that sort of thing. Do you have a favorite soundtrack?
Well, yes, I do. I actually have several favorite soundtracks, but the one that probably stands out the most would be from Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance.
And that's a video game soundtrack.
Yeah, it's a video game soundtrack, video game OST, because every track in there is just
gorgeous,
awesome. Just like,
I think one
so
of my favorite soundtrack composers for video games is Yoko Shimomura, and she did all of the Kingdom Hearts soundtracks. Love them. But my favorite video game soundtrack is actually the Xenoblade Chronicle soundtrack. It's very, really, really long.
Very atmospheric, very long.
It has a few different composers in it. Yoko Shimomura did some stuff from it, and I don't exactly remember who did the rest of it, but it's a multitude of people that worked on that. But I think my favorite soundtracks of all time, doesn't matter what they're, no matter what else, is going to be the Harry Potter soundtracks, because they're magical. And they went through 4 different composers, which in itself is interesting. And I mean, the Pirates of the Caribbean ones are good too, but Harry Potter. Yes. And that was done by Klaus Badelt, and then the rest of them were done by Hans Zimmer, and he's very, very, very popular when it comes to composing.
Yeah, I've heard of Hans Zimmer before.
Yep.
I've actually heard of somebody.
Yep, that's the Pirates soundtrack guy.
Well, there you go. That was our nerd vocab segment.
Yes, it was.
Next up, all video game stuff.
Yes.
So
it is our video game news segment, not to be confused with our Nintendo segment, which
Nintendo is completely separate.
Yeah,
Nintendo,
which is, it's sometimes about video games, but it's typically just Nintendo stuff since there's usually a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one's just our kind of a catch-all video game category.
We just throw things in there and whatever sticks.
There we go. And this next song, I believe, is Clockwork by Autopilot Off, also a kind of a punk rock band, I want to say. A little bit of alternative, I guess. It's they're an American band. They're not from across the pond. So I hope you guys like them. And remember, you are listening to the Nerd Edification Hour on Alternation Radio, and we will be right back. And we are back on the Nerd Edification Hour on Alternation Radio. Caleb, why are you asleep? Caleb, wake up!
You're listening to the Nerd Edification Hour on Alternation Radio. Hello, we're back. Hi.
And I'm Rachel. And then, of course,
Caleb.
the sleeping man across from me was Caleb. I'm not sure why he fell asleep.
I woke up early this morning. I've been busy.
Yep. Sometimes he takes a little nap during the break.
I just take a nap, and that was way too long of a nap for me.
So,
video games.
Video game news. Up until now, Caleb, we have heard, all that we've heard or seen about Final Fantasy 15 is that the party was filled with guys.
All dudes.
It was
in a car.
It was a bro fest. It was basically a bunch of bros taking a road trip.
Just a road trip to
and killing monsters.
Yeah, destroy innocent wildlife.
However, that very fact might change.
Oh.
According to Square Enix, anyway. It is possible that a female character is going to join the game's 4-character and all-male party as a guest for a certain number of missions.
Just one?
Yes, just the one girl.
Wow. So the entire world is filled with dudes.
I'm thinking, well, it's not like that, but just for there's female characters, of course, but they're not going to be part of the core party as they were in past games. This is kind of a different thing for Square in any case. But in one of the missions, or a couple of them, for a limited amount of time before she leaves the party, she's going to be helping them out. And my guess is that it's going to be Sydney, which is basically, if you've played the Final Fantasy games in the past, there is a character named Sid, and usually he's a mechanic. This character is in Final Fantasy 15, but instead of it being a guy, as it has been before,
it's a lady.
It's a lady, which is a very different thing for Square Enix.
We said that about last week,
yes, we talked about it a few weeks ago. But in a recent interview with this, I think it's a magazine or a website called Weekly Famitsu, Final Fantasy 15 director Hajime Tabata once again addressed the issue of the whole no female character in the party. The exchange pretty much played out as him saying, as them saying this. Famitsu says a lot of comments from people who wanted a female party member actually seemed to stand out. And Tabata replied, "It is possible that a female character may join the party as a guest. Because it's 4 guys traveling together, it may be interesting to see how these youths react to a woman when she's in the party." And he laughed about this. And this comes after Tabata told GameSpot, not GameStop, excuse me, that an all-male party almost feels more approachable to players. And this is probably
approachable. I don't know. I wouldn't approach a group of 4 dudes. You kidding me?
Well,
that's dangerous.
Well, this is after a primarily female cast in the 13 saga,
right?
Because you had Lightning, all the time, or Lightning's sister all the time, and then you had little snippets of male characters, but the primary presence was female in those games. So they're kind of switching gears, and then you also in Final Fantasy X had. Or 10-2 rather, the main cast was 3 girls the entire time. So that was a whole female cast for this. So it's not the first time that they've gone all one gender. But he continued adding, when in his GameSpot thing, even the presence of one female in the group will change their behavior so that they'll act differently. So to give the most natural feeling, to make them feel more sincere and honest, having them all as one gender made sense in that way.
Yeah, it makes sense. If you're with your bros or with your, I don't know.
You're going to act one way, right.
Gal pals, I don't know what.
No, that's correct. You're correct,
okay,
Caleb. You weren't wrong.
I was making sure that I was using the correct vernacular.
Yeah, the correct terminology.
Lingo.
Yes, but even in the demo, I noticed from when you were wandering around in the party, with the party and stuff like that, and battling, you noticed that they were really jokey and laughing a lot, and then you go up to the mechanic's place and you see Sydney, and they're all like, well, you see, and then they try to make a joke and they stumble over themselves. It might have been because the Sydney character would be classified, I guess, as pretty. So yes. It's gonna be interesting in any case. I think it's gonna be cool to see what they do with it.
What would that be? What's this? Love, penta.
Don't even
angle.
Don't even go down that road yet.
The drama in that department. Whoa!
You'll send the shippers crazy, and it'll be nuts.
I think it's already been shipped.
Oh God!
I think it's already been shipped.
Oh no!
All the ships.
But yes. Okay, so you know that side-scrolling Assassin's Creed game that was set in 16th century China that came out?
I heard about it, yes.
Well, apparently it's going to be turned into a trilogy.
Ooh.
It's now going to span 3 eras and 3 countries, and it starts all on April 21st.
April 21st, so you can get this pretty much on the... Yes. Are they selling it like hard copy, or is it just virtual download? It's
going to be out for...
PS4,
Xbox One, and PC on April 21st for only $10.
Ooh.
And it is a side-scrolling game, mind you. So
only $10? I might get that.
Yeah. But it's free if you have the Assassin's Creed Unity Season Pass, which actually stopped being sold after all that glitchy stuff happened. So if you didn't get it when it was being sold as like a pre-release, you probably will have difficulty purchasing it. Like, it's there, but it's not what it was. Now, the trilogy itself, it's Assassin's Creed Chronicles China, and then there's going to be one in 19th century India and early 20th century Russia, which in itself is going to be interesting.
It's all Asia. So
it's actually the setting for the canonical Assassin's Creed comic book series. So there's a lot of interesting stuff going on.
Hold on. I finally get my Russian-based Assassin's Creed.
Yes.
But it's not a standalone. And okay, well, you're close enough.
Well, it has to do with the fall of the Ming Dynasty, the Sikh Empire, and the East India Company in 1841.
Well, that's not exciting as ours, but I'll take it. It's a Russian Assassin's Creed.
Well,
and, I wanted one, and here it is.
The Russian one is in 1918. So whatever's going on in Russia in 1918 is what's going to be like that. I think, there's going to be an Anastasia mission.
Oh, and then we'll get to see the little bat, and then DreamWorks logo will pop out.
Oh, God. Oh, God. You did not just make that reference.
Well, yeah, you said Anastasia, and so...
Yeah, well, that's going to be interesting. Well, yeah, it's going to be interesting considering that point in Russian history anyway.
And then everybody will sing.
No, no.
We'll just start singing.
No. There's going to be no singing. It's going to be a brutal Assassin's Creed game. Don't. No. Just no. Just no. But it's going to be interesting itself because Assassin's Creed has a tendency to explore in eras that have to do with stuff like French Rev, for example, or American Revolution, or when piracy was huge in the Caribbean. Now they're doing the Fall of the Ming Dynasty. They're doing the East India Trading Company. And then now they're doing the whole stuff with the czars in Russia, which, it's really broad. I want to know, though.
You do run on a train in the Russian one.
Oh, that's cool.
Train.
That's cool.
Yeah.
But I'd like to see where they go next. The side-scrolling things are cool. They're a nice little pause between stuff.
It definitely changes it up a lot.
Oh, yeah, definitely. But we'll see what happens. I want to know what they're going to do next for their actual console game. That's what I care about.
Make it work.
Hopefully.
Hopefully.
That's the plan. But... Yep, that's it for that section. And next up, we have a little bit of tech news, and then we'll be ending with a discussion on, what other people have done for April Fools, if you guys haven't seen them yet.
Pretty much. And you were listening to the Nerd Edification Hour on Alternation Radio. We'll be right back. This song is Me, You, and Pikachu.
It's an awesome song.
Yeah. All right, you were listening to the Nerd Edification Hour on the Alternation Radio. Hello, I'm back. I'm Caleb.
And I'm Rachel.
And now we have your tech and other random assorted news. The bonus round is what I like to call it, and no one else does, but I do.
I think it's a bonus round.
It's a bonus.
Or as they say on my favorite podcast, bonus onus.
Are we? Oh, no, wait, we don't say that. So we're not your favorite podcast. Okay, I see. I'm just go ahead.
No, you're my second favorite.
Okay.
But in any case, Pebble. The watch, Pebble. Or whatever.
Pebble Watch, anybody?
Yeah. It went back to the crowdfunding site Kickstarter to help them fund Pebble Time. It's a second major hardware iteration. The company likely could have gone with a more traditional product launch with a brief pre-order window or like a direct market availability, something like that. But the campaign did break the Kickstarter's all-time records, netting over 20 million.
That's a lot.
From 78,741 backers. Well, I mean, if a bunch of people just randomly put in a small amount of money, $5, $20.
The Nerd Edification Hour makes potato salad. Going to put that on Kickstarter.
Oh, my God.
And
but
every time we talk about Kickstarter, that joke will come up.
The fact that they netted that amount from that many people is newsworthy all in itself.
That's a lot.
And apparently this Pebble Time Watch will connect to any smart device like iPhone, Apple.
It'll connect to almost any phone you have.
Yeah.
Which is, say, it's more flexible than the
Apple Watch, for example. Which, that's interesting.
Shots fired.
Shots definitely have been fired, guys. Now, since it's April Fool's, I thought we'd kind of, see what everyone else has been doing for April Fools.
What is everyone else?
Well, if you go on Google Maps right now, at least I still think it's up, you could actually play Pac-Man on your own streets of the maps of your own town.
It's pretty cool.
It gets really interesting when your town has a lot of roundabouts. Oh. So try putting it in, say, like Italy or something.
Oh my.
That would be interesting. Now, Tumblr has a very interesting April Fool's thing that they're doing. They have this Tumblr Executive Suite 2015. Does that sound like a word processor?
I think it does.
Well,
what does that remind me of?
It's because it is. Pretty much if you type to go up to like a post or something, it'll put it in an Excel sheet and you can type your post up in an Excel sheet. Now, when you type it up, when you press publish, it will look normal on the dashboard, no problem. But when you're typing it up, it looks like you're typing it into an Excel sheet. It's really interesting. But once you click on this thing, do you guys remember on like Windows 98 and XP, the little helpful paperclip that would come up on your screen?
They should bring that back, and you could turn them into a dog and a cat and other assorted things.
Oh, Tumblr brought it back, but it's a giant flying copier that yells at you the entire time in all caps. It's like, hi, I'm a copy, and how can I help you today? And I was like, oh my goodness. And then they have like yellow notepad instead of just notepad. It's just like yellow pad, and then there's a calculator, an on-screen calculator. It's nuts, and it's very annoying, too, if you're on Tumblr a lot. So if you're on Tumblr and you've seen this thing and you don't know what it is, if you do not want to be bombarded by all the April Fool's stuff, don't click on it. And now, last year they just did Tumblr Pro, which basically it put a top hat on your icon, which in itself it was really small and cute, and I liked that. But this thing is just ridiculous. Now I'm glad that Facebook didn't do an April Fool's joke. Disney did though. What did Disney do? Disney April Fooled everybody into thinking that they were going to rename Cinderella Castle Elsa Castle. Oh, and the internet was just hurt.
I would have believed it too. I would have been like, no.
Some people did, and they rage quit. They just rage quit. I was like, really? Nah, it's April Fool's. But, you know, things
happen.
There's
a whole bunch of videos on YouTube right now that they're just...
There's a ridiculous amount of April Fool's stuff going on.
Although you unfortunately won't see that on my channel because I'm so busy. I didn't have time for one. Maybe next year when I'm less busy. Hopefully.
Who knows?
Who knows?
But yes, I think that is our show for today, guys.
If you want to go check out my YouTube channel, that's strangely entertaining, and go like the Facebook and all that stuff.
Yep, the
Nerd Edification Hour.
Facebook page is Nerd Edification Hour. I try to do the This Day in Nerd History almost every day. And also we're on Twitter too.
I am, at least. I'm on Twitter, and that's where I post all my things.
Yep.
So.
Twitter is Nerd Edification. That's what we're called. So if you want to see us on the web, that's where you can find us. Or you can tune in on 1480 a.m. at 1 o'clock precisely.
Yes.
On Wednesdays.
Just like today. And till next week, our outgoing song will be from Child of Light, Off to Sleep.
Awesome.
And till next time...
Stay fancy.